What if the season's fiercest battle isn't happening above the rim at all, but behind closed doors, where a meteoric rookie, a rattled rival, and a nervous league office are trading shots no referee can whistle? Tonight, we expose how Angel Reese's explosive accusations and Caitlin Clark's record-shattering rise collided to ignite a power struggle that threatens to rewrite women's basketball forever.
WNBA without Caitlin Clark remains an attraction that not many people want to watch.
Is going to massively affect the WNBA.
Caitlin Clark is the closest thing that they have to quality play.
The WNBA has come out numerous times. There's no place for hate. There's no place for racism.
Brittany Griner comes out and says, I am so sick and tired of the WNBA. It used to be a peaceful, small little thing. Now there's crowds screaming, hollering.
What do you call a league that preaches no space for hate, yet falls silent when its most polarizing veteran is caught on national TV mouthing a slur, trash beep white girl, at the rookie who's saving their ratings? Because that's exactly what exploded across social media the moment cameras zoomed in on Brittany Griner stalking off the court and locked onto Caitlin Clark's stunned face. Within hours, Investigate BG was trending, lip readers were dissecting every syllable, and an even older rumor about Griner's true identity roared back to life. Tonight, we'll follow the receipts, track the double standards, and ask the question the league still won't touch. If fairness is non-negotiable, why is silence their only play?
The jerseys, the number 22, the various styles, whether it's a t-shirt with 22. The amount of people in yellow 22 apparel is stunning.
Caitlin Clark, the lightning rod. Caitlin Clark didn't just arrive, she detonated. By her fifth pro game, the rookie was logging near triple-doubles and pulling TV numbers most franchises only dream about. When she sat with a quad strain on May 28th, broadcasts still pulled 851K viewers, a 119% jump over the same window a year earlier. Even sidelined, Clark's gravitational pull held the 10th most watched game in NBA TV history, and analysts now peg her 2025 economic footprint at close to $1 billion for the league. With that kind of wattage, every arena feels like the center of the sports universe. Merchandise spikes 500%, secondary market tickets rival NBA prices, and she's already fourth in early MVP chatter. Headlines dub her the Jordan of Gen Z, yet she still earns a rookie scale $76K. The gap between her stardom and the league's old guard is a chasm the cameras can't stop, but fame paints a target. Chicago's Chennedy Carter hip-checked Clark to the hardwood in 2024.
It is a mad situation just all around when it comes to Caitlin Clark, because it's very clear that she is way stronger.
Caitlin Clark, the Caitlin Clark effect is very real. She is the most valuable player in the league,
and was later upgraded to a flagrant. This season, the bumps kept coming. Hard screens, face swipes, and an online pile-on led by rival Angel Reese, who reposted a TikTok caption sneering, "White girl running from the fade." Each hit feeds a narrative. Rough her up, ride the clicks. Yet Clark never swings back. She brushes off elbows, drops another deep logo three, and keeps the smile that sells out arenas. Her composure only sharpens the contrast. The league's brightest beacon, absorbing punishment while its brass preaches equity. And as the abuse escalated, so did one uncomfortable question. If they'll bend the rules against the golden ticket, what won't they ignore for a veteran with decades of baggage? Next up, the long, tangled history that made Brittany Griner the most combustible figure in modern women's hoops, and why that past set the stage for the slur heard round the world.
Caitlin Clark got roughed up repeatedly by defenders throughout her rookie year last year.
Caitlin Clark is a rising star in women's basketball. She's pulling in crazy viewership numbers.
It was tempted bullying, trying to break her spirit, intimidate her, put her in her place, get even with her for all the attention she was getting.
Griner's baggage. From a Russian penal colony to an Olympic podium, Brittany Griner's path has never been quiet. In 2022, she was sentenced to 9 years behind bars for a vape cartridge, then walked free when Washington traded notorious arms dealer Victor Boot to bring her home. That swap carved her into an icon for some, a symbol of double standards for others. Controversy long predated Moscow. Back in 2020, Griner urged the WNBA to scrap the national anthem, saying the song's promise rang hollow for Black Americans. The stance, plus outspoken support for LGBTQ athletes, earned cheers on one sideline and fury on the other. After her 2024 return, the glare only sharpened. When she complained that the league's new, rowdier crowds were disruptive, conservative media pounced. ESPN's Stephen A. Smith even blasted her over a fake Instagram quote before realizing it was satire. This spring Outkick charged that the WNBA blocked its reporters so no one could grill Griner about the alleged slur, fueling fresh "what's the league hiding" speculation. Each flashpoint reinforces the same paradox. looks. Griner is marketing gold and a PR minefield. Sponsors crave her reach. Detractors count every whistle that seems to favor her. So when the bench cam clip of Trash Bleep White Girl hit X, fans primed by years of baggage didn't wait for official audio. They'd already chosen their villain. And the league's hush only made the next question burn hotter. If this is how they handle a scandal everyone can see, what happens with the rumors they refuse to touch?
Caitlin Clark is an absolute all-star. She is the Michael Jordan of this. This is the girl that girls have been waiting for forever.
Slur or whack call. The investigation that wasn't. The clip raced round trip from Atlanta to every timeline on the planet before the scoreboard even cooled, yet two competing storylines took shape overnight. On the outrage side, conservative outlets like Outkick freeze-framed Griner's lips and insisted she spat trash white girl at Clark or the nearest white referee, replaying the consonants like crime scene evidence. On the defense side, ESPN's Jamele Hill told her 1.6 million followers they were hearing things. Griner was furious at the whistle, she argued, and the phrase was trash, whack call. While fans dissected syllables in full HD, the WNBA's brand new No Space for Hate banner hung quietly on the league's website. Yet headquarters issued only a one-line email. The matter is under review. No fine, no public comment from Griner, and no timetable. The same office had just spent a week interviewing ushers and combing crowd mics after Angel Reese alleged racist heckling in Indiana, an investigation that ended with zero corroboration. timesofindia.indiatimes.com. To Clark's growing fan army, the contrast looked less like due process and more like selective enforcement. Pundits flipped the colors to make the point stick. If a white rookie muttered effing black girl on national TV, her season, and maybe her career, would end before breakfast, thundered Skip Bayless. Sponsors would flee, hashtags would scorch the league's X feed, and the punishment would arrive before the hot takes cooled. But with Griner, crickets. That perceived double standard, one rulebook for stars the league wants to protect, another for everyone else, poured gasoline on an already burning clip. Sports.yahoo.com. The uproar also exposed an institutional blind spot. Intent is easy to debate, but optics are impossible to ignore. Every silent hour felt like complicity, and every social media slow-mo birthed another, look, they're covering it up thread. And yet, for Caitlin Clark, the slur debate was just one line on a longer box score of elbows, hip checks, and racially tinged digs. The real question wasn't who could read Griner's lips. It was how many hits the rookie sensation would endure before the rulebook finally showed up. Next up, the mounting bullseye on jersey number 22, and why every unchecked shove is costing the league more than points on the scoreboard.
Just have nothing but great things to say about who she is as a person. She's so welcoming and so warm as an individual that she can have a conversation with anybody.
Target on number 22. Caitlin Clark's stat lines draw headlines, but it's the bruises that tell the real story. Last season, Chicago guard Chennedy Carter blind-shouldered Clark to the hardwood, upgraded to a flagrant only after slow-mo replays ricocheted around social media. This spring, the pattern sharpened. Hard screens to the jaw, swipe downs that drew blood, and, most famously, Angel Reese reposting a TikTok sneer that slammed Clark as a white aisle running from the fade, slang for a beatdown. When Reese later claimed Indiana fans hurled racist slurs at her, the league launched a week-long probe, interviewing ushers, scrubbing game film, and releasing a public summary that found no evidence. Yet the elbow to Clark's mouth 2 nights earlier? A routine common foul. To neutral viewers, the message looked clear. Protect the narrative first, the rookie sensation second. Clark absorbs the hits, keeps dropping logo threes, and smiles through post-game questions about privilege. Meanwhile, each unchecked shove fuels a perception that some stars play by a softer rulebook. But if league discipline seems selective now, the next controversy threatens to blow that door off its hinges. An internet rumor the WNBA has dodged for years and can no longer ignore. Up next, the conspiracy reborn.
Brittany Griner elbowing Caitlin Clark in a crazy way and then calling her a trash white girl.
League at a crossroads. For years, the WNBA has asked fans to believe in two promises: that the game is rising and that every player competes on equal footing. Caitlin Clark's meteoric debut appeared to deliver on the first. Her fever matchups now outdraw some mid-season NBA broadcasts. 2.22 million viewers on CBS One Saturday, 2.70 million on ABC the week before, the biggest regular season audiences since 2000. Forbes analysts already speak of a Clark effect behind soaring franchise valuations, while one Sports Illustrated study project she could pump $1 billion into the league's 2025 economy. Even nights she sits with a quad strain, national telecasts still pull nearly 900,000 viewers, triple last season's slot. Yet that same spotlight now exposes the league's second promise. On May 15th, the WNBA unveiled its season-long No Space for Hate initiative, pledging zero tolerance for bias across all WNBA spaces, online, in arena, and on court, WNBA.com. But less than 2 weeks later, the office fast-tracked an investigation into hecklers who allegedly repeatedly taunted Angel Reese in Indianapolis, while the Griner-Clark clip, visible on every feed, languished in "we're reviewing the video" limbo. To millions of new spectators, that looked less like due process and more like selective hearing. Sponsors are watching too. The Clark-fueled surge has lured fresh brands and pushed ticket prices to NBA-adjacent levels, but corporate dollars crave predictability. Every unaddressed elbow, every unanswered slur threatens to turn the league's best marketing campaign into a credibility crisis. If the rules feel elastic for stars with seniority, or for narratives that test well in focus groups, how long before fans decide the competition itself is elastic? The stakes reach beyond one season's balance sheet. Women's basketball finally owns a cultural moment. Packed arenas, primetime slots, and kids in replica number 22 jerseys who believe this is the future of sport lose their trust now, and the league forfeits more than revenue. It squanders the chance to prove that women's pro athletics can grow on its own terms: merit, fairness, and transparency. So the question hangs over every replay of that bench cam clip. Will the WNBA match Clark's historic rise with historic accountability, or allow silence to become the soundtrack of its biggest year? Because in a marketplace this crowded, integrity isn't a slogan, it's the only ticket that keeps scanners beeping tomorrow.
Caitlin Clark is a rising star in women's basketball. She's pulling in crazy viewership numbers.
She's the Rookie of the Year. She's 4th in the league in MVP voting.
One clip, one slur, and weeks of silence have done what decades of sluggish marketing never could: put every eye on the WNBA's rulebook. Caitlin Clark's record-shattering rise has proven that women's hoops can own prime time, yet the league's hesitant response to her very public targeting risks turning a breakthrough season into a cautionary tale. Fans aren't asking for special treatment, they're asking for the same standard, whistle to whistle, no matter the jersey name. Because when fairness feels negotiable, so does the future those packed arenas seem to promise. So here's the final buzzer beater. Will the WNBA match Clark's impact with equal accountability, showing that talent and integrity can share the same court, or let unanswered elbows and half measures define its biggest year? Drop your take below, and let's see whether the league's next move earns a standing ovation or another slow motion rewind. They said she was just a rookie with a jump shot, but tonight, Caitlin Clark became the Fever's field general. While the refs tried, once again, to tilt the floor, Clark grabbed a clipboard and turned chaos into strategy, coaching Indiana from the sideline as her Mystics bullies closed in. 1 minute the Fever were spiraling, the next they were burying back-to-back threes and sending the crowd into a frenzy. This game wasn't just basketball, it was a chess match played at 94 feet. Sonia Citron unleashed her full arsenal. Stephanie White shuffled the deck, and somewhere in the madness, Lexi Hull morphed into a one-woman wrecking crew, ripping the script the Mystics thought they'd written. By the final buzzer, Indiana's biggest weapon wasn't even on the court. It was the roar Clark sparked from the bench. Stick around, because this breakdown exposes every twist, every meltdown, and the unlikely hero who saved the Fever's Commissioner's Cup dream. Opening storm cue, the tip-off and the script goes sideways fast. The refs swallow the whistle on 2 straight Mystics hacks, and Sydney Colson answers by airmailing a chest-high pass into the 8th row. Indiana's set play dissolves, but rookie Sonia Citron is already seeing double teams, sometimes triple, so she rips down the rebound, rockets the length of the floor, and finishes through contact. 4-0 Mystics. Stephanie White hollers, "Trap her!" and the Fever swarm. First defender, second, even a late rotating third. Citron still threads a no-look dime to the corner, proving she's as much quarterback as scorer. Meanwhile, Aaliyah Boston decides to impose her will, snatching a loose ball, muscling through 2 bodies for Indiana's first bucket, then sprinting back to swat a layup clean off the glass. Kelsey Mitchell grabs the moment, knifes coast to coast, and splashes a pull-up mid-range. Suddenly it's Fever by 4, and Gainbridge Fieldhouse is electric again, but warning lights flash. Every positive surge is clipped by another Colson turnover or a blown box out. Momentum teeters, the refs nudge, and you can feel that notorious Fever fourth quarter curse lurking in the shadows, just waiting for a crack in the armor. Bench mob ignites. Sydney Colson finally hits the pine, and boom, the gears click. Ari McDonald checks in, instantly cranks the pace to turbo, and threads a bounce pass dart that frees Thapa Lexi Hull for an and 1 lay-in. Hull has been sprinting off stagger screens all night, but now she's finishing too. Corner triple, baseline cut, foul line floater, 8 straight Fever points in 90 seconds. The Mystics look stunned. Indiana strings together 10 unanswered, fueled by crisp 1 more passing and Boston's moving brick wall screen. Stephanie White is practically doing fist pumps at midcourt. Caitlin Clark, clipboard in hand, is barking out coverages like a grad assistant and chest-bumping teammates at every timeout. On the other side, Sonia Citron is still magic. She blocks Hull in transition, then beats 3 red jerseys down the floor for a scoop, but Washington's supporting cast clanks everything. By the horn, the stat sheet screams lopsided. Fever 7 for 11 from deep, Mystics 0 for 7. Hull alone has more threes, 3, than Washington has field goals since Coulson sat. Halftime storylines: 1. Pace flip. McDonald's speed forced the Mystics bigs into late rotations and free throw hacks. 2. Hull mania. 13 points, non-stop off-ball chaos, and elite point-of-attack defense on Citron. 3. Clark the coach. Her sideline play calls, staggered pin downs into flare rescreen, produced 4 of Indiana's 7 threes. 4. Warning light. Citron still flirting with a triple-double, 8-5-4, and living at the rim anytime Indiana's rotations lag. The question heading into the third: can the Fever keep the foot on the gas once Coulson re-enter, or will the turnover gremlins creep back and reopen the door for a Mystic comeback? Citron's counterpunch halftime adjustments? Washington's is simple: unleash Sonia Citron. The rookie comes out like she's late for a flight, splits a hedge, Euro steps Boston, and kisses glass for 2. Next trip, she drags a double-team baseline, whips a cross-court laser to the weak side shooter, and finally the Mystics bury their first 3 of the night. Lid trimmed to 5 in 90 seconds. Stephanie White sticks with the hot lineup: McDonald, Hull, Mitchell, but Sydney Coulson wanders back in and the tempo stall. 2 possessions, 2 head-scratching turnovers, and Citron turns both into runway layups. Momentum officially hijacked, 9-0. Mystics burst, Fever down 1. Enter Kelsey Mitchell. She refuses to let another collapse script itself. Off a Boston pin down, she curls into a 28-foot dagger, then baits Natasha Cloud into a hopeless reach and converts 2 free. The building exhales, but Citron is relentless, snatching her 8 boards, sprinting coast to coast, getting hammered, still finishing +1. She's sitting on 23-9-6, and the Fever's 10-point cushion is now a yo-yo. Clark senses the wobble from the bench and calls an impromptu huddle. You can read her lips. Space and spray, no hero ball. Next possession, the message sticks. 5 passes, inside-out kick, Hull corner 3, cash. McDonald swipes the inbound, flips it back to Hull for a baseline reverse, and Gainbridge detonate. The answer run is 8-0 Indiana, good for a 10-point edge as the horn sounds. Scoreboard after 3, Fever 72, Mystics 62. But every Fever fan in the house remembers last week's blown lead. The fourth quarter has been their house of horrors all season, and Sonia Citron just tightened her sneakers. One stanza left to decide if Indiana finally learned how to close, or if the ghosts are about to break the door down again. Fourth quarter, whiplash. The fourth opens exactly the way every Fever fan feared. Sonia Citron storms out of the huddle like a one-woman fast break. First trip, Hesse, blow by and 1. Next, pump fake 3, 2 dribbles, pocket pass for a lay-in. Stephanie White's 10-point cushion vanishes in 74 seconds. Score, 72-69. Gainbridge goes from party mode to pin drop. Sydney Coulson re-enters and immediately telegraphs a cross-court pass. Pick 6, Mystics within 1. The sideline mic catches Clark barking, "Timeout," before White can even motion. Clipboard slam. Message, "Stop bleeding now or live this nightmare again." Out of the break, Indiana tries a horn set. Busted. Boston forces, misses. Citron snags rebound number 10, pushes end to end, and ties it up. Fever have surrendered a 10-0 run and haven't made a field goal in nearly 4 minutes. Cue Kelsey Mitchell. She rejects a screen, snakes middle, and nails a leaning 12-footer to finally halt the freefall. Mystics answer with a corner 3, lead gone again. Crowd on edge, refs swallowing whistles, Citron eyeing a triple-double, and the commissioner's hub dream dangling by a thread. Stephanie gambles, benches Coulson, rolls with the McDonald Hull backcourt that worked in the first half. 1 possession later, you see why. McDonald's dribble drive bends the defense. Skip pass finds Lexi Hull alone on the wing. Blast. Fever back up 2, but momentum still feels like nitroglycerin. 1 wrong jostle and it makes Lexi Hull's takeover and the finish. Final 4 min. The game tilts on a single sequence. With 3:58 left, Sonia Citron drives yet again, but Aaliyah Boston meets her chest to chest, forcing a wild left-hand banker that rims out. Boston outlets to Ari McDonald, who hits a hard 45-degree cut from, you guessed it, Lexi Hull. She jabs middle, freezes the help, then Euro steps the secondary defender for a silky finger roll. Fever by 3, crowd back to life. Washington doubles Boston the next trip, leaving Hull one-on-one on the weak side. Pump fake, 2 dribbles, up and under, bucket. Mystics call timeout, but Hull is officially in the zone.
If you're enjoying this breakdown and want more raw, unfiltered WNBA moments, consider subscribing to the channel.
7 straight Fever point, 22 on the night, plus the assignment of shadowing Citron full court. Out of the break, Citron hunts a switch, dishes to the corner, clang. Hull rebounds, sprints, and this time dishes. Skip to Kelsey Mitchell for a feet-set triple. 11-2 run, led back to 8 with 2:05 remaining. Washington's final punch comes from a quick flare screen 3, cut to 5, and a Citron steal that trims it to 3 with 1:22 left. Stephanie White refuses to panic. She draws up a stagger flare for Mitchell, but the Mystics overplay. Clark, still acting assistant, yells, "Reverse!" Boston hands back to Hull on the slip. Lexi drives, decelerates, and kisses it high off glass over 2 collapsing defenders. Back to 5, turn 48 on the clock. Citron's legs finally show fatigue. She short arms a pull-up. Boston clears, Mystics foul. Mitchell ices 2 free throws, and that's the dagger. Final horn, Indiana Fever 88, Washington Mystics 81. Post-game flashpoints, Hull's breakout, career best, 24-5-3, 4 of 6 from deep, plus 18 in 32 minutes. Her fourth quarter shot diet, drive, 3, drive, snap the Fever's collapse curse. Citron's near triple-double, 27-10-7, but 2 of 9 in final 5 minutes, once Hull took primary assignment, and Boston shaded hard help. 3-point math, Fever, 11 for 24 versus Mystics, 3 for 16. That 24-point swing erased Washington's 16-point edge in points in the paint. Clark, the sideline QB, no playing minutes, yet called 2 ATOs that produced 5 points and the decisive Hull lay-in. Coulson conundrum, Indiana was 12 in her 13 minutes, plus 19 without her. White hinted post-game that the rotation will evolve. As confetti cannons pop, Clark hugs Hull and mouths toward a courtside camera. Angel, you're next. The message is clear. If the Fever can close without their superstar, imagine the noise when she's back on the floor. Fallout film room and what's next with the Mystics in the rear view, the Fever board the plane with something they haven't felt in weeks, proof they can finish. In Monday's film session, Clark and White will drill 3 things. Small ball success. The Hull McDonald-Mitchell trio scored 1.46 points per possession in crunch time. Expect more 3-guard lineups to juice tempo and spacing. Late game traps. Washington's 10-yo burst all came when Coulson stayed high and help never arrived. The adjustment, ice every Citron side PNR and rotate Boston early. Second side actions for Boston. She was doubled on 61% of her touches, reversing quickly to the weak side shooter, often Hull. Equals 4 uncontested buckets. Commissioner's Cup Math Indiana is now 3-1 in cup play. Win Friday versus Chicago and they clinch Group A. Lose and tiebreakers get messy. Translation, Clark's likely back in uniform, but even if minutes are limited, the Fever must replicate tonight's ball movement. Message to fans. If this squad can grind out an 88-81 win with Clark in street clothes, imagine the ceiling once number 22 laces him up again. Friday's showdown with Angel Reese in the sky isn't just another game. It's a statement opportunity, so buckle up, Fever Nation, because the next chapter drops in 3 days, and the target on Indiana's back just got a lot bigger. Friday versus Chicago, and they clinch Group A. Lose, and tiebreakers get messy. Translation, Clark's likely back in uniform, but even if minutes are limited, the Fever must replicate tonight's ball movement. Message to fans. If this squad can grind out an 88-81 win with Clark in street clothes, imagine the ceiling once number 22 laces him up again. Friday's showdown with Angel Reese in the sky isn't just another game. It's a statement opportunity, so buckle up, Fever Nation, because the next chapter drops in 3 days, and the target on Indiana's back just got a lot bigger. Friday versus Chicago, and they clinch Group A. Lose, and tiebreakers get messy. Translation, Clark's likely back in uniform, but even if minutes are limited, the Fever must replicate tonight's ball movement. Message to fans. If this squad can grind out an 88-81 win with Clark in street clothes, imagine the ceiling once number 22 laces him up again. Friday's showdown with Angel Reese in the sky isn't just another game. It's a statement opportunity, so buckle up, Fever Nation, because the next chapter drops in 3 days, and the target on Indiana's back just got a lot bigger.
That was honestly embarrassing to watch out there. We looked like the Angel Reese led Chicago Sky without me playing. Now you guys see why they call me the Steph Curry of this league.
It's just a good take foul, you know? If either Angel gets wide open 2 points or, we send him to the free throw line. Nothing malicious about it. It's just a take foul. Every basketball player knows that.
Because I'm carrying a bunch of bums and they look like a middle school team when I don't play.
Let's not make it anything that it's not. It was just a good play on the basketball.
It's gonna be a rough 2-week stretch until I get back. I wouldn't be surprised if we lose all our games during that stretch.
11 records detonated in one game, yet almost everyone left the arena talking about just a single triple-double. While Caitlin Clark's stat sheet carnage blared across every feed, a 15-year vet quietly stepped into basketball immortality, and an off-court controversy forced league security to double-check every exit. Something seismic is brewing in Indiana, and the tremors are only getting louder. What happens when a sophomore phenom, a decorated champion, and a rim-protecting prodigy collide on the same night? Numbers melt, narratives flip, and the rest of the WNBA suddenly looks outdated. Stay locked in, because by the time we hit the final buzzer, you'll realize that Clark's headline moment was just the prologue to a story nobody saw coming.
I will admit, though, she is the king of me-bounds. She has the best signature move in the league where she misses a wide-open layup and grabs her own rebound.
While the roar for Caitlin Clark rattled Gainbridge Fieldhouse, a 6'4" left-hander slipped to the free throw line and nudged her name into basketball eternity. DeWanna Bonner, 15 seasons, 2 rings, 6 All-Star nods, needed 7 points to leapfrog Hall of Famer Tina Thompson on the WNBA's career scoring chart. Swish, the first shot tied it. Swish again, 7,189 points and counting. Good for 3rd all-time behind only Tina Charles and Diana Taurasi. Fans rose as the arena announcer belatedly caught up, showering the veteran with a standing ovation that felt part celebration, part apology for almost missing the moment.
That signature move is unstoppable, just like the Kareem skyhook. I'm gonna ask her for some tips on how to grab me bounds like her when I see her again.
What makes the feat resonate isn't just the number, it's the context. Bonner left a comfortable situation in Connecticut to mentor Indiana's budding core, gambling her twilight years on a rebuild. Now, in her Fever debut, she plants a flag in league history while proving wisdom can power a locker room as forcefully as raw talent.
Caitlin Clark is the most fun player to watch in the WNBA. It's actually good.
Clark fist-bumped her on the way back up court, Boston flashed a grin, and suddenly the generational gap vanished. This roster speaks one shared language, winning, and that was merely the appetizer. Because on the very next possession, Chicago tried the paint and discovered Aaliyah Boston had padlocked it shut. Chicago swaggered into Indianapolis certain the paint would be theirs. Angel Reese had spent the week promising to own the glass, even jawing at Caitlin Clark after a flagrant shove mid-game. But the moment the ball went up, the only voice that mattered belonged to Aaliyah Boston, and it echoed every time she sent a sky layup flying. 5 rejections later, Boston had single-handedly turned the lane into a restricted zone. Her 19 points came on bruising post seals and putback.
Caitlin Clark was getting 1.2 million viewers for games on Iox.
Her 13 boards vacuumed second chances out of Chicago's hands, and those 5 blocks didn't just stuff the stat sheet, they slammed her into the Fever's top 6 all-time SWAT list before her 24th birthday. Numbers tell only half the story. According to the team recap, the last WNBA opener, with at least 15 points, 10 rebounds, and 5 blocks, belonged to Natasha Howard back in 2014. Boston just became the second member of that ultra-exclusive club, announcing herself as a franchise. Pillar beside Clark, and the chemistry? Unreal already. Clark kept firing no-look bounces into Boston's hands. Boston kept rewarding her by erasing mistakes at the rim. 9 combined blocks from a guard-center tandem on opening night is now a record, proof that Indiana's stars are sinking at warp speed. Yet if Boston's rim protection felt like the last word, Clark was only getting warmed up. What the sophomore did next didn't just bend the record book, it snapped it in half. Then came the stat sheet supernova. Caitlin Clark opened the night by splashing a logo 3, but that was just the prelude. Over 32 breathless minutes, she racked up 20 points, 10 assists, 10 rebounds, and even 4 emphatic blocks, the most ever swatted by a point guard in a WNBA season. Numbers alone don't capture the speed of her ascent. In just 41 career games, Clark already owns 3 triple-doubles, obliterating the previous fastest mark. Diana Taurasi needed 565, sports.yahoo.com, sports.yahoo.com. She's also logged 9 games with 20-plus points and 10-plus assists, tying Taurasi and sitting one shy of Courtney Vandersloot's all-time record of 10. And Vandersloot needed 430 outings to get there. What looked like video game output sparked real-world shockwaves. ESPN cut into other programming. Ticket prices spiked overnight, and pundits began asking whether Clark might erase every significant scoring and playmaking record before her rookie contract even expires. Yet the most mouth-dropping stat hid in plain sight. When Clark's 4 rejections joined Aaliyah Boston's 5, the duo stamped 9 combined blocks, the highest total ever posted by 2 teammates on opening night. Fever, WNBA.com. A guard-center partnership wasn't supposed to snuff out shots like twin 7-footers, but Indiana's new reality laughs at supposed to. And if this triple-double felt like the climax, wait till you hear the off-court drama swirling just beyond the hardwood. Block party. Nobody expected. The scoreboard said 93-58, but the real earthquake hid in the BLK column. Caitlin Clark, a point guard, spiked 4 shots. Aaliyah Boston swatted 5 more. Together they stacked 9 rejections, the largest combined total any 2 teammates have ever posted on opening night, according to league game notes. Chicago managed just 29% from the field, stunned every time the lane snapped shut. Why does 9 matter? Because it's not supposed to come from a guard center pairing this young. Traditional wisdom says rim protection comes from twin towers. Indiana just proved a backcourt sniper can join the blockade. Those swats fueled instant fast break points, turned cheers into roars, and most importantly, signaled that the Fever's defense might scale as quickly as Clark's highlight reel 3s. And that record? It was number 11 on a night already littered with milestones, so deep on the list that most fans missed it while they scrolled Clark's triple-double headlines. Yet coaches around the league circled it in red ink. If Indiana can erase mistakes like this in Game 1, what happens by Game 40? We're about to find out, but first, off the court, a controversy was brewing that would force the WNBA to double its security overnight. Off the hardwood, microphones swiveled from the stat sheet to the stands. Mid-game chatter on social media claimed fans at Gainbridge Fieldhouse hurled hateful slurs at Chicago rookie Angel Reese right after Clark's flagrant 1 foul. The WNBA launched a quick probe, but after combing video, interviewing arena staff, and reviewing audio logs, investigators found no proof the abuse ever happened. Caitlin Clark broke her silence 2 days later, saying the building was way too loud to hear anything, but backing the league's effort to root out hostility. Reese, for her part, doubled down on wanting a tougher fan code of conduct, keeping the tension simmering even after the final buzzer. Those allegations hit just weeks after a Texas man was arrested for stalking Clark, a case so alarming that Commissioner Kathy Engelbert fast-tracked a multi-pronged, no space for hate plan, AI monitoring of threats, a beefed-up in-arena security celebrity presence, and charter flight escorts for high-profile players. League sources say every Fever home date now carries double the normal security detail, a first in WNBA history. So while the Fever rewrote record books on the floor, the league quietly rewrote its safety manual off it, because the price of superstardom isn't just sold-out crowds, it's making sure the stars get home safe. And speaking of price tags, wait until you see the numbers behind Clark's sneaker empire and a salary that barely cracks $80K. Off the court, the math gets even wilder. Caitlin Clark just inked an 8-year, $28 million mega deal with Nike, complete with her own signature shoe. Yet under the current CBA, she'll pocket about $78K in Fever salary this season, less than the league's veteran minimum in men's summer league. The disconnect isn't lost on teammates. Private group chats are buzzing about how one rookie can drive national ratings, while the entire roster splits a charter flight stipend. That pay gap has become the union's rallying cry. With the collective bargaining agreement set to expire October 31st, 2025, players have already voted to opt out, and their leaders won't rule out a strike if revenue sharing doesn't catch up to the spotlight Clark is generating. Meanwhile, the WNBA's in-season Commissioner's Cup dangles a $500K prize pool, chump change compared to shoe money, but life-changing cash for half the locker room. Indiana's Cup schedule kicked off tonight, but there's a catch. Clark strained her left quad on May 26th and is listed week to week, meaning every Cup minute she misses could cost those teammates a 5-figure bonus. So the Fever's fortune now hangs on a freshman superstar who's rich everywhere except her league paycheck, and on a labor fight that could turn next season's record chase into a midwinter work stoppage. And with Bonner still chasing Tina Charles on the all-time scoring ladder, and Clark eyeing her return against Angel Reese, in 4 nights, Indiana's ticking clocks just started to overlap. The Fever didn't just win 93-58, they announced a new era. Dewana Bonner is chasing Tina Charles's 7,696-point mark, just 207 away, while Caitlin Clark eyes a return against Angel Reese in 4 nights, aiming to erase every doubter. Think about that. One franchise newcomer chasing immortality, one sophomore phenom redefining fast, and a third-year anchor protecting the paint like it's Fort Knox. Behind those 11 records lies a warning shot. Indiana's balance, youth, and veteran grit could outpace every projection. If Bonner clamps down on Charles's second spot by mid-season, and Clark returns at full throttle, the Fever's ceiling becomes unimaginable. Meanwhile, Aaliyah Boston's rim presence suggests opponents' paint attacks may need rule changes. The real question isn't whether they'll break more records, it's how many their rookie contracts will let them chase. With Clark's quad still uncertain, every practice rep counts. One misstep could ripple through Commissioner's Cup hopes and teammate pay bonuses. And while the league scrambles for tighter security and labor talks heat up, Indiana is racing ahead, unfazed. So here's your pulse check. The WNBA once saw juggernauts build over years. Now, in just one night, the Fever fused generational talents to rewrite the playbook. The rest of the league can only ask, what happens when this engine hits top gear? Because in Indianapolis, the future isn't coming, it's already here.